There are lots of one-star reviews on this specific bike, the Tuttio Soleil 01, and I'm only going to read off the few specific ones that I chose out from the Tuttio website and Amazon, starting with this one. Big fire hazard, smoked like a freight train 5 minutes into my son's first ride, danger. And then the actual review said, bike is a fire hazard. My son, not even 5 minutes into the ride, the bike starts smoking as we are crossing the street, leaving him stranded in the middle of the intersection. My husband had to rush out to the intersection to help him off, then push the bike off the road while this thing is still smoking like a freight train. This is a new bike. The seller wanted us to take it apart and find out what's wrong. We don't have tools for disassembly, and frankly, we should not be doing anything besides riding the bike. The bike shop quoted $375 for full disassembly, and the appointment was 1 week out. My son's birthday is ruined, and this was an absolute disaster after waiting 2 weeks for the bike. Seller is not making this right, and we are going back and forth. I don't have $375 to pay for disassembly. What a dumpster fire. Maybe this bike will catch my whole house on fire and kill everyone in it. Bike is unsafe. Do not buy. And that was her review. That's actually crazy because I have zero idea why this bike would be smoking unless it's like overheated or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out for 5 minutes and I'm going to go ride around and see if I can get this bike to smoke like a freight train. If it doesn't, then this review is busted. There, I've been driving around for about 5 minutes, nothing smoking, everything's good. So that review is busted. And for this clip I couldn't get my microphone set to actually work, so it's only compatible with the iPhone, so I have zero idea what's wrong, but I did promise you guys at 500 subscribers I would get a microphone. So here I am. I'll figure out the microphone stuff later. So this next review, this person pretty much left a review on the fact that this supposedly isn't legal in the US. So they wrote, warning, not certified for use in the US. We got an $800 fine. We bought this electric dirt bike for our child, not knowing that it is not certified or legal for use in the United States. Just a few days after receiving it, our child was stopped by the police and the bike was confiscated and impounded for 2 days. We ended up paying an $800 fine. The police clearly stated that bikes like this one are not allowed on public roads or even in residential neighborhoods. So that's just one part of it. I'm not going to read the other part because it's pretty much just repeating, and this lady just got annoyed. But I'm going to say this review is actually valid because it does happen, especially to Tuttios too. I mean, it's more like Sur-Rons and bigger bikes, but Tuttios also get impounded, so I'm going to name this as valid. So this next review, the title for it is What Was Once Fun Has Turned Into a Nightmare. So this person wrote, I was nearly killed when a warranty replacement throttle broke and became stuck open at full speed. Thankfully, I'm an experienced rider, didn't panic, and was able to come to a stop. Had this been my son or any kind of other kid, this could have led into serious injury and a major lawsuit. This is the second throttle that has broken for no apparent reason, and both have fell under warranty. I've attempted to contact customer service for almost a month and haven't received a single peep from them. Not only can this bike be incredibly dangerous due to faulty throttle engineering, the customer service incompletely inept. I don't know. I don't understand that. Please exercise extreme caution when riding this bike and know beforehand that there's absolutely zero customer service. I'm beyond disappointed and didn't want to write this review, but people need to be aware. Okay, so then what's funny about this person is
he put a bunch of like dots or whatever those little stars are, and then he wrote another small paragraph saying, "Bought for my 13-year-old son, and we fight over it. I'm 50 and weigh about 215 pounds, 5'11", and it powers my big behind with no problem. He's hit 40 miles an hour on it, and my max is about 32. The bike is a rugged, fast, excellent suspension, and on-point stopping power with the hydraulics. Pleasantly surprised at the high quality." So he was surprised at the high quality, but then the throttle still broke. So, anyways, yeah. So I'm actually gonna do this right now. Is I'm gonna test my throttle. See, it clicks. So this review busted because mine didn't break, and multiple reviews were actually on the throttle. But still, that's busted. Mine didn't do it. It's only a couple people in the world who actually have broken throttles like this.
Yeah, so I just noticed that my microphone was totally off the last two reviews I did. So this time, somebody wrote bad tire, pretty much just complaining about the tire, saying the back tire is continuously leaking air at the spokes, less than a month old. My son didn't start riding it or get it till his birthday on June 11th. So they left this picture right here, and you can see on the bubble, that's where the air is leaking. But that is not riding for a month. My tires are less bald than that, and I've had this for 5 months, and I've already put like 400 miles on it. That is a busted review because that's a used Tuttio. That's a bald tire. Like, they don't send you used bikes. That's obviously busted. Yeah, cuz my tire ain't leading air, so busted. So these other ones are kind of short. So this one I kind of got annoyed at. Somebody named Charlie B wrote, major issues. Bought for my daughter at Christmas time and have nothing hung but trouble with this bike. Doesn't work for longer than 2 minutes without the bike erroring out E07, E08, E02, etc. Would live for seller to reach out to me and make right, but have not heard anything yet. So what gets me really annoyed is that E02, E08, E07, and E09, they're all error codes for the bike. So E02 is when your back brake is being pressed and you're trying to throttle it. That's EO2. So whenever your back brake is pressed, it's EO2. EO7, EO8, and EO9 have something to do with after starting the bike when you try to throttle it like 2 seconds after you start it, or the bike is rolling while you turn it on. So those those that's a ridiculous review if you don't know how to use the bike, then that's for you to figure out. But anyways, yeah, so that review is busted. The error codes, that's supposed to be there. So really quickly, I wanted to mix this in is somebody wrote not legal to ride in California streets without pedals. And remember that review saying that, like, oh yeah, $800 fine, whoop-de-doo. This person just wrote, there's no pedals on this bike, so making it legal to ride in California streets without motorcycle license with new laws. And that's literally it. That's all they wrote. And last one I wanted to mix in was this person named Jackie Garvin wrote, so their like title for it is Hi. Okay. So their actual review was just saying too expensive. Well, then if it's too expensive, then don't look at it. If it's too expensive for you, then don't make a review. You know what? There are bikes more expensive that suck worse. They literally, you can buy a bike for 3 grand and it's gonna break in like 3 seconds. So this bike is really affordable for how the price is compared to other bikes. But if you can't afford it, then that ain't anybody else's problem. So yeah. And then there's this review saying and this review is the only Tuttio website review that I'm actually putting on. This was like when the bike kind of first came out. It was in 2024, December 30th, and they wrote, brakes don't work. I ordered this bike for an Xmas present for my son. My husband assembled the bike, but the back brakes do not work. Contacted Tuttio, and we haven't heard back. Even sent a video of the back brakes not working. So now we have an expensive bike that doesn't work and no customer support. So if you have problems with the bike, do not write a review um, on the Amazon website. Write it on the Tuttio website so that they can um, so that Tuttio can actually read it, because later they actually responded like apologizing for their experience with the bike, and that's pretty much what you gotta do. You gotta like write reviews on the official website, because then the Tuttio official website is never gonna see your review, and they're literally not even gonna care at that point. So that's one thing. And Amazon, if you order it on Amazon, then you have 30-day returns, and just you can buy warranty off of it right away, and it's kind of more convenient to buy it on Amazon. But I'm going to go and test my brakes. If they don't work, then this review is valid. If they do work, then this review is busted, because the brakes have to work in order to come into the box. So yeah, let's go. Okay, now let's test. 20 miles an hour. See if my brakes work, specifically my front ones. Bam, stopped. It works. So a person named Bahim wrote this review. The title is, "If you care about your money, do not buy." So he literally wrote a whole entire essay. Like, look at that thing. That's massive. He wrote a whole entire essay on this bike, and saying pretty much how he doesn't even like it. But his review was, "I received this bike 2 weeks after ordering it. I received it begging of May." So I guess he meant beginning of May. He literally wrote begging. And he wrote, "It took me 4 hours to assemble it, and I'm pretty handy with tools. After building it, I turned it on. Nothing. No power, no fun. It was for my nephew's birthday, and this messed it up." So I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to say, man, you must really care about your nephew that much to buy him an almost $1,500 bike. That's actually wild. And the 4-hour assembly is, if you're handy with tools, then you shouldn't really have a problem. I mean, I'm not very handy with tools, but I know my bikes. And for a fact, I'm going to say that this bike only took me an hour to assemble. So it's not that bad. If you actually knew how to assemble a bike, then it would be quicker. But this review ain't my problem. So he said, "I contacted the seller and they made me take apart half of the bike and look at the wires and test the battery. This took an additional 4 hours." I don't think so. I mean, it could be. And then he wrote, "Then they asked that I disassemble it and send it back to them. The box that it came in was damaged, and I drive a motorcycle." Okay, what does you driving a motorcycle have to do with the box being damaged? That's just kind of weird. So he said, "I asked them for a replacement box, which they did not do. They asked me to buy a $60 box and find a way to get the bike dropped off, since the package wasn't eligible for door pickup. I involved Amazon, and Amazon requested them to send a replacement. I asked the seller to vigorously test it, and they agreed to. Once I got the replacement bike, it finally turned on. When I went to go test it, it didn't go over 20 miles an hour with the power cutting out and the screens flickering. This bike is a piece of trash." After I spent over 12 hours diagnosing and working on the bikes, the seller asked me to disassemble both bikes, but I had back pain from working on the bikes, so my doctor asked me to not work on them for a few weeks. The seller then asked me to buy two $300 pallets and strap down the bikes to them so that they can send a private transporter to pick them up. After I declined doing that, they began trying to transfer our chats to email instead, so that I cannot report anything they are saying or use it as evidence in my claim. So I'm just going to pause, like just stop right there and just read off the end. He wrote, I'm now down $1,800, 12 hours of time, in dealing with the seller that is trying to get Amazon out of the picture so my purchase protection goes away. Please, please, please buy a different bike. I read the bad reviews too and thought that it's 1 to 100. No, it's... And he wrote, just, you will regret it, and that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go test that it starts, if my screen flickers, if it starts, if my power cuts out at around 20 miles an hour, and if I can exceed 20 miles an hour. So I'm going to go and do that. Okay, first, let's see if I can hit 20 miles an hour without this bike cutting out. Never cut out. Busted. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and just because I showed the 1-star reviews doesn't mean that you guys don't have to get this bike. It's still an amazing bike. If you guys ever have problems, I can help you guys contact Tuttio. Just let me know in the comments and I will reach out to you guys. And also, one thing is, all these reviews, I've literally busted most of them except the ones that were having to do with the California and US laws of e-bikes. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.